What's going on, guys? I'm Jaye the Black. Salute to everybody that's tuning in. This is going to be extended commentary on a topic that I did on my morning live stream that I'm going to be doing more of. It was like the premiere episode, right? The pilot. And I spoke about a bunch of different topics. And one of them was this new rule that the dating app Bumble was instituting, right? About if you, as a man, in your private messages, in your profile, speak about not wanting to date women who are overweight or who are of the trans community, you can be kicked off of the platform. Now, this to me, I felt the need to make an extended commentary because I think it's outrageous that you have these apps try to police your preferences and try to tell you what you should date as a man. Because it's funny how us as men, right, we are constantly told who to date and who not to date, what standards we should have. But women don't have, they don't have that. It's not the same criteria for them. You know, you have a lot of women who are not in shape. You have a lot of women who are overweight. You have a lot of women who are not very attractive. They can get on there and to the T say what type of guy that they want. And if you are not that type of guy, they're going to either express it or they're just not going to deal with you. But I find it interesting how you have these sites trying to more and more police what not only your thoughts politically, but how you feel about your dating preferences. I find it to be very interesting. And also what I find interesting, that you have people that want to refute what I say, right? They want to refute what I say. They want to, like I had one person on my Facebook timeline, right, tried to refute what I was saying by using an article from The Guardian that was, because the article that I read was very similar to the topic. Because I did because I clipped out that particular portion of the news topics. And I talked about how they're saying, listen, if you are a man and you refuse to want to date women who are fat or women who are of the trans group, you will be banned. Now, they said it was if you were like fat phobic and transphobic, right? You're not going to be welcomed on their platform. And then you got somebody that wants to come to my page and say, oh, that's not what they said. Even though I read the article verbatim, the title of that article was the title of my video clip. Because people, especially women, don't want the perception to be out there that these apps are trying to force men to like something they don't want to like. Because one of the things I think that triggered this particular person was they saw all the responses from men. And they saw how men weren't going for that. So they want to try to refute. But how are you going to refute? By basically putting out the same thing that I was speaking about, but you're trying to do it in a way that it's only giving you 50% of the information. When you go to Bumble's terms of service, is basically speaking on what I spoke on. If you don't like this type of woman, what they're going to do, they're going to read your private messages. They're going to look at your profile. And if you are showing behaviors of a person who has a certain standard and you don't want this or that, they don't want you on their platform. You can't refute that. You can't refute terms of service. Just like when you have people who have a different political affiliation than you who get kicked off a platform and you want to tell them, well, you need to read the terms of service. Well, a lot of you need to read the terms of service before you try to tell me what is on the terms of service when I clearly did a video and read it out to you what they are looking for on their platform. This is where we're going to. And what a lot of men are starting to see is that, hey, they really out here trying to control men. They're trying to control masculinity. I even talked about how you had Halle Berry teaching her young son how to basically disregard being a masculine male, to embrace his femininity, to tell him, hey, you're not stronger than women. You're not better than women. I don't think that kid ever thinks he's stronger, better than any woman, but in her warped liberal mind, she feels like she has to teach him to embrace more of his feminine side. And to, hey, because let me tell you something, what happens when you raise these young males to dislike the male side of them, they're going to embrace their female side. When you have them wearing female heels or boots or whatever, you think that that's a great teaching moment. No, what you're doing, you're effeminizing these males, and you're making them basically have self-hate when they get older. And that's what these dating apps are doing. That's what Instagram has done. It's made a lot of these women really dislike themselves to the point to where they will go under the knife in order to fix the problems that they feel like they have. There are women in their early 20s who've had multiple surgeries on their body. I did a video about a female who lost her life because she wanted to go under the knife. She couldn't do it here in America, so she went to, I believe, Colombia to get the work done, and she did not make it back. And this was a female who was, I believe, in her late 20s. She had a daughter. I don't know if she was a single mother or not. You look at her body is nice already. Why are you going to get bigger assets? You don't even need to do that. But this is what social media has done to the minds of women. I think the minds of women have been shaped by social media more than men. You know, because men, we're visual. We're going to be visual whether we're on social media or not. I think it has made some of these guys delusional. I think there are males out there that think that they're supposed to be with an Instagram model, and that's just not the case, right? So the delusion is out there. I'm not here to say that there aren't delusional males, but when it comes to these dating sites, right? When it comes to these dating sites, things are getting more and more out of hand. You have these apps full of women or whomever, women or other. you got these dating apps full of women and other, and then you got men, right? And a lot of those people aren't getting chose because they have delusional standards. They're looking for a tall guy with six-pack abs who makes a lot of money. That's what they're looking for. And a lot of these women themselves ain't even in shape. They don't have their life right, but they're looking for Mr. Perfect. I would say 70 to 80% of women on these dating apps are looking for the same type of males. That's why these men are running through these women on these apps. Not a lot of them, but there are a select group of guys that are just running through these women because these women are throwing themselves at them on these dating sites because these women have delusional standards. And they're saying, you know, having relations with him is better than nothing, right? They think that they'll be able to change his mind, and that never happens. So they're relegated to being a jump off side piece, but they're never able to become that guy's girlfriend. These guys have a line full of these delusional women on these apps looking to get with them. And these websites know this. And what's funny about Bumble was that they instituted something to where the women will get first dibs at being able to talk to the guys, right? And that still ain't work because these women don't have people skills. They have this very old school mentality when it comes to dating, only on social media and in real life. But for the most part, when they get into relationships, there's nothing old school about them. They can't cook, they can't clean, or they don't want to clean. They're argumentative. They got to have the last word. They got to have the final say so. They continuously choose the wrong men, and they end up alone again and again and again and again. So even with the help of these apps, they're still single. They still are struggling. Do you know there are women who probably been on these dating apps for years, and they have never been able to get in any type of solid relationship? So now they're just using it for hooking up. They're not going to say nothing in their profile. They're going to talk about, I'm not looking to hook up. I'm looking for relationships and marriages. I guarantee you, if they got messaged by one of these group of guys who they are desperate to get with, I guarantee you they will break whatever rule they have to get with that dude. They will be a jump off. They will be a side piece just to be around the guy that they want. Just because they think that they'll be able to change that guy, but it never happens. So they're back on social media looking for something. Half lying, half telling the truth. Part of them do wants a relationship, but a part of them knows it's never going to happen on a social media dating app because they have delusional standards in men, and everybody knows it. Nobody's lying. Nobody's making anything up. This is the truth, man. We are in a different day and age. And what you have going on is that you have people who unfortunately do not live in reality. And because they don't live in reality, they tend to not have self-awareness and understand that at the end of the day, it's up to you to find happiness. You're not going to be able to find happiness by always being out here trying to chase, because what happens when you don't get what you're chasing? Because you have those delusional standards. And that's why you're single at the end of the day. You have nobody to blame but yourself. You have to look yourself in the mirror for that.